Hello and welcome to yet another 2-Minute Tuesday. Today I want to talk about a very common requirement in implementations of model-driven applications or Dynamics 365, which is running a process on child records. This can take a huge variety of shapes. For example, maybe if you update the address for a company, you want to update the address in all the contacts below, or you can also do this with custom entities. It always happens that if something happens to a parent record, you want to do the same thing to the child records. And in Dynamics, if you're using workflows, you don't really have an option to trigger that. You don't have an option to trigger workflows on child records. So I want to show you how we can do this with Flow, because with Flow is super simple to do. Now for this example, I will be using the relationship between accounts and opportunities. And this came from a recent project in which the customer really wanted to show the credit limit at the opportunity level for a variety of reasons. We had some business rules running based on the credit limit compared to the estimated revenue, and the investment was required to win that opportunity by the company. So the company needed to invest some money in order to get that business. They were comparing it to the credit limit of the customer and so on and so forth. So we needed to really replicate that value from the account level to the opportunities below. So if something changed on the account, we needed to update all of the opportunities, the open opportunities that were below. So before we do that, let's start the countdown and let's go. So in this case, as you can see, I created a flow that runs on that particular instance, on this environment. And the flow is really simple 3 steps. The first step is we need to initiate this flow automatically when the record is updated. So in this case, you see AR status or credit limit, essentially synchronization to opportunity. So in this case, I said it's going to run in that environment. It's going to run based on a account change, and the scope is, well, for any account owned by any user on the organization. So that's pretty straightforward. That is very similar to the way workflows work. After that, I run a list record step, and the list record action, essentially, I'm looking at all of the opportunities underneath this account. Now, how can you tell Flow which records to look for? Instead of listing all opportunities in the system, I just want to list opportunities underneath this particular account. Now, I didn't add, for this example, all of the filters. The actual customer scenario, I cannot show it to you because it's for a specific customer, but they have obviously open opportunities. They have opportunities of certain sizes and different customer types. So you can build the filter the way you want it, but I added a super simple filter here. So how do you come up with this filter? It's pretty straightforward. So actually, if you go into the form for the opportunity, this is a demo environment. It's not the customer's environment. If I go into the field that connects to the opportunity, which in this case is the account field out of the box, you can go into the details tab. Let's wait for this to load. And that is the name of the field, right? So you need the schema name, which is that thing. So you will copy that, and then you go back to Flow. And in Flow, you're going to type underscore, paste the name, underscore value equals, and then you add this right here from the dynamic content, which means that this will be filled up automatically. It kind of works the same thing in workflows when you use the form assistant to add dynamic records. Once you do that, you move down to the next step, which is apply to each. And then the flow will then be populated down to all of the opportunities based on the filter that you added above. So if you added a filter just like mine, which is super simple, you will just go ahead and run this process below. So it says in this current environment, look for the opportunities, and on the credit limit field, go ahead and update it with the credit limit from the account. So let me scroll down so you can see exactly where that is. So right here is the step that says when a record is updated, and I just went scroll down to credit limit and clicked on it to add it into the credit limit field on the opportunity. So these are all the fields on the opportunity. As you can see, you're probably used to these, like customer need and description and decision maker. These are all out of the box fields. So essentially, I added the credit limit from the account into the credit limit from the opportunity. You go ahead and save that, activate it, and your flow will run every time an account goes through a change to update the credit limit in this particular opportunity and every single opportunity listed below. So I hope you enjoyed today's tip, and we'll see you next week.